Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to At the Bar podcast. This is another podcast where it's just me, Alex, on the mic, talking about how I got on with the CrossFit workout. Speaking today is hard. How I got on with the CrossFit workout 18.2. I hope you all enjoyed last week's episode where I sort of gave my experience with 18.1. 18.2, it was, the workout was for time. You had to use two dumbbells, do one squat with the dumbbells loaded in what's called a front rack position. Basically what that means is that the weights are resting on your shoulders in some capacity. So you had to do one of those. Then you had to do a burpee in front of a bar, facing the bar, jump over the bar. And then you did two squats with the dumbbells, two burpees over the bar, 3 and 3, all the way up to 10. So eventually you would have done 10 dumbbell front squats and 10 bar facing burpees, okay? So you had to do that for time. Once you'd done that, if you finished within the 12-minute time cap, you had as many attempts as you could in that time to find your 1 rep max clean. Now, for those of you that don't know, in Olympic weightlifting, you've got two moves. You've got a snatch, which is ground to overhead in a single movement. And then you've got clean and jerk, which is ground to shoulders in one movement, then shoulders to overhead also in one movement, okay? So this tested just half of that clean and jerk. This was just the clean, so ground to shoulders. Now, you can do that in a few ways. You can do what's called a power clean, which is where you bring the bar off the floor and you don't squat under it, basically. The idea with squatting under it, which would be a full clean, the idea of squatting under it is that you reduce the height that the bar needs to travel for you to then get yourself under it, get it onto your shoulders, and then you can stand it up out of the squat, in effect. Hope that makes sense. So that was the workout. So you had to do the dumbbells and the bar facing burpees first. As soon as you'd finished that, whatever you had left of the 12-minute time cap, you had to find out your 1 rep max clean. For those of you that live in England, we have had some absolutely useless weather over the weekend with a load of snow, which basically scuppered the game plan really for this weekend for the Open. It started on Thursday. The Open workout was announced. Excuse me. The Open workout was announced 2 a.m. Friday, and I couldn't get off my road to go and do it. So I didn't actually get a chance to do it until Sunday, which was yesterday, which left any need to redo it up to today. Okay, so I did have 2 attempts. The first attempt was yesterday. And, I was pretty happy with it. I think I'd love to be at a stage where I was getting, between 6 and 7 minutes probably. But realistically, I knew going into it that anything under 8 would probably be really good. And I got 7:54 in my first attempt. I think it was 54. And I PB'd my clean, so I got a personal best. 95, which was an extra 3 kilograms on what I've ever done before, which was 92. So I was really happy with that. And to be honest, I was probably going to leave it there. I know that my clean compared to some of the other guys in the box, and by the box I'm referring to the CrossFit gym that I go to, have got bigger cleans than me. But as long as I was ahead of them in the time, then I was going to be fairly happy. Especially as I PB'd my clean. Like, I'm not sure what capacity I had to do any more on top of that was going to be. I did try 100 in the dying seconds of the 12 minutes and failed 2 attempts, but that's okay. The 100 is coming. Anyway, there's a guy at our CrossFit gym. His name's Mitch. Awesome athlete, really nice guy, but we've sort of got a bit of a rivalry going on during this CrossFit Open. Self-made and all in good sort of humour. But I knew that I'd beaten his time, and I'd beaten it by 18 seconds. So I was really happy with that. I was going to leave it. Didn't think he was going to have a second attempt. He did. he had his second attempt, and fair play to him, he PB'd by a long shot. He actually got, I think it was 6:58 around that mark. So he smashed it, which meant me being quite a competitive personality, I was going to always have a second attempt to try and beat him and beat my score. So I approached today's attempt, the second attempt, a little bit differently. Excuse me. To yesterday's, I spent a lot of my time warming up. I had a lot of muscle soreness from my attempt yesterday, so just tried to loosen up as much as I could, warm up specifically a bit more, and also just be a little bit more strategic. Think about where I was going to put the dumbbells on my body, how I was going to approach my bar facing burpees. I actually decided that this time I would attempt it in lifters, which for those of you that don't know, for Olympic lifting there are specific shoes which have like a slight raised heel, and it just gives you that little bit more ankle mobility. So it helps out with your squatting and things like that, but maybe could potentially be seen as a hindrance for the burpees. Anyway, today's attempt went a lot better in terms of the time. Didn't beat Mitch, unfortunately. I don't know how he got that time. Like, it's an awesome time. Fair play to him. I went as hard as I could in that first bit. I got 7:25, so PB'd the time by 29 seconds, which is pretty good, and especially considering the amount of muscle soreness I had, I was really happy with it. And I thought, like the weights yesterday were good. Like, I'm going to try and hit 100. Went in at 90 this time instead of 80, which I did yesterday. Hit 90. It took me 2 attempts to hit 90, actually. So tried 100 after hitting 90. No chance I was getting under it. So I thought, okay, well, I need to at least match what I got yesterday, which was 95. Set up 95. Again, I had a couple of attempts and just couldn't get under it. So my final score, the one that I've submitted is today's, took a hit on the weight, so I went for 90. But ultimately, hopefully, the 30 seconds was going to be enough to boost me up the leaderboard that little bit more. Congratulations to Mitch for an awesome time, in fairness to him. I think I was at capacity maybe. I don't know. Maybe if I'd been able to hit it on Friday and have an attempt today, it would have been different. I'd have been a bit more recovered, a bit more fresh, had more time to think about what had happened in that first attempt. But I'm not going to the games, so I don't need to stress too much about this stuff. This is just for my pleasure and also just to journal what I'm doing, really, like at this time in my life. I think it's going to be pretty cool in years, to come, to be able to reflect back on this stuff. So, yeah, I feel pretty pragmatic on the whole thing. So, yeah, that's what happened today. Just to give you an update on my shoulder injury, there had been no real progress up until yesterday, to be honest. It was still feeling naff. Had like basically on the, as I press my arm, straight overhead from resting on my ribs, fully extended overhead, and then bring it back down. On the way back down, there was like a little clicking going on. And, I'm not a physio, so I know enough about anatomy and physiology for my job, but I don't know as much as I'd like to, first of all, and second of all, as much as I will. But I couldn't work out what this clicking was. Anyway, I did the workout yesterday. The burpees, which is the only pressing motion in the workout, didn't really give me any grief. And actually today, I can just about, I'm doing it as I'm speaking, I can just about move the shoulder now in that plane, and there's no clicking. So fingers crossed, we're getting better, which will mean that if in this next workout we get some overhead movements, be that on hanging off a bar or pressing a bar overhead, that things will change. So what do I want to see next for 18.3? I don't know. I think I'd like a chipper workout. A chipper workout, basically, there's a time cap set with an extensive amount of potentially movements and reps to achieve within that time, and then if you hit the amount of reps, then you go back to the beginning and start again. But yeah, something like that I think would be quite fun. So maybe a bit more diversity in the moves, because realistically in both these first two workouts we've had 3 movements in each one. So it'd be nice to get something a little bit different. If not, then I'd like to see a ladder of some sort. A ladder in this sense meaning normally in ascending weight and decreasing reps, but it could be the other way around. It could be decreasing weight and ascending reps. So something along those lines would be quite cool. One of those two. I mean, I'm sort of hoping that they both come up in some capacity over the next 3 workouts. Can't believe we've only got 3 left. Those first 2 have gone quick. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with my score in terms of where I am at time of recording. Let me have a look. I'm just launching the CrossFit Games app. Basically, just gives you a worldwide ranking and a European ranking. Cool. So worldwide, I'm currently. It sounds rubbish when I say it out loud. I'm currently 19,342nd. However, that is out of 227,424. So that puts me just in the top 9% actually. So I'll take that. And then within Europe, I'm 1,683rd out of 21,203, which puts me in the top 8%. Now, I guarantee you that'll change overnight and I'll probably drop to, I mean, last week I ended up sort of just in the top 20%, which I'm happy with, you know. I mean, I would love to be higher, but I think the sort of volume that I've trained over the past year, whereas it's been way better than any other year, also doesn't warrant me to be anywhere other than where I end up, right? Like, my position is going to be a reflection of where I'm at, and to argue against that would be to fight reality, really, wouldn't it? So, yeah, top 8% in Europe. 100% take that to the bank. I just hope I can beat Mitch in the next one. Game on, really. Yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome week. The next podcast with me and Harry won't be out now until, I'd imagine, not this weekend coming, but the weekend following. In the meantime, you'll have another one of these where I'll review 18.3, whatever it is. Have an awesome week, guys. If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow me at either my business account at Rise Fitness UK or my personal account at @Parkinson_UK. Those are both on Instagram. You can find Rise Fitness on Facebook, and you can find me on Facebook as well if you want to add me as a friend. And then you can find Harry at HMPT Coaching on both Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, keep being awesome, guys. Have a great week. Thanks a lot for listening.